Today, I'm going to show you how to make bacon sprinkles. They go good on everything, including donuts. You're welcome. Welcome to Becky's Homestead. Today, I'm going to show you how to make bacon sprinkles. And if you are a cook or you're learning to cook and you want to spice things up and just add a little more flavor to your food, you think some of your dishes might be a little bland and they're just missing a little something, this might be it. Bacon sprinkles. You can add them to a salad. You can add them to pasta. If you make up some pasta and you just put butter on it, you can do some chopped tomatoes in there and some bacon sprinkles and a little Parmesan cheese. You can use them for sandwiches. If you make any kind of a sandwich and you just want to add a little more flavor to it, you can put that on bacon sprinkles on the sandwich. And they're also great for breakfast as well if you make some scrambled eggs or little taquitos or whatever. So I'm going to show you how exactly, because it's a very specific way for them to turn out really good. Okay, it's very important to use the biggest frying pan you have. You want it wide and big. So pick that, and then you have to preheat it. Have to. So I'm going to turn this on right now before I start cutting. So I'm going to turn this down. You want it on medium heat. Medium to low heat, depending on your stove. So medium-low to medium, right in that range. You don't want it too hot. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need is, of course, your bacon, a cutting board, a very sharp knife. This is a little spoon with slats in it to stir it up as it's cooking. You need a little pan to, kind of degrease it when you're done. You scoop it out and put it on this. Soak up as much grease as possible. And then this is a very important part. You need a little glass bowl with a lid to keep it in the refrigerator. Because, that way you make quite a bit and you can use it throughout the week. All right, so that's not too complicated. This is all you need. And now I'm going to show you how to cut it because the pan is very important, but also how you cut it is super, super important if you want it to turn out good. So I have a little extra. This is 1.5 pounds and then 1/2 I have left over from something else. So I'm just going to make it all and then I'll have it in the refrigerator. All right, what you want to do is slice this. Just leave the whole thing in the package, just open the package and you can just cut it right on the package. All right, so in the end, you have this pile of just little tiny pieces. Now what you have to do, and this is a very important step, is you have to make sure they're all separated. So you have to pull it apart, whatever pieces are stuck together like this from the bacon pack. Take your time with this because this is what makes it turn out good. All right, so I'm going to touch the handle and the handle's hot, so it's ready to go. Now I'm going to put this in the pan and I'm going to sprinkle it around the best I can just with my hands at first. All right, so then you're going to slowly just stir this up and that separates it even more. And it instantly starts cooking because we had the pan preheated. Now, if I see any little stringy bits like this, I get them out. I just don't like that. So I'll get that out if I see any. Depending how good the quality of the, bacon was you bought, you might have a couple. Now, you don't want this sizzling, crackling hot. You want it just how you see it right here, where it's kind of, you might use the word simmering. You want to just have it like that. Slowly, this cooks slowly, not quickly. Once all that water cooks off, then it'll start to, fry almost. It takes a little while for the water to boil off and it's kind of a long process, but don't rush it. You can't turn it up higher. Just let it do its thing and then just, keep stirring it. Okay, so it's been about, I would say, maybe 7 to 10 minutes. The water is pretty much boiled off, and you can hear it sizzling now. Now it's getting down to the fat. Okay, now we're really cooking. You can hear it crackling. Just keep stirring. Like I said, make sure it doesn't stick, and if it starts to stick, you gotta turn the heat down a little bit. Okay, we're getting there. So this is what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna keep going. These would be a tiny bit chewy if you stopped now. I don't want mine chewy at all. I like my bacon sprinkles to be crunchy. So you can see how it's really bubbling in there now. It changes as time goes on. And I'm gonna keep stirring this though, because these aren't quite crunchy enough for me, but you can tell they're getting there. Yummy. See how good that looks? And look how the pile is so small now. I started out with so much in there, but when you cook all the fat out, it just gets shrinks. Okay, so here's a little trick. This is a little Becky trick that I do. I get a wooden spoon and set it here, and then I'm going to move this over here quickly, and it's hot, and I tip this. So all the grease is going to run to this end, and then I just like scoot the meat over here. And I will still put it on a paper towel, but this helps the draining start while it's in the pan. Because if you just start scooping and putting it over here, it is just too messy. And just tipping the pan like this and letting it sit there for a few minutes, it really works and helps a lot. And then some people, what they'll do with this over here, a lot of people love to cook with pork fat. Lard, it's real lard, and this is rendered, pork lard. So what you can do is let that cool, and then you can get a little container, and that's what I'll do. I'll let this cool, and then I'll put it in a jar, and I'll just have the lid on it, and I'll keep it in my refrigerator. And then when I'm cooking, what I love to use this on that makes it so flavorful and so good is if I pan fry fish, I will use this lard. It's also very good with eggs and stuff. Let that cool down, and you can even put it in the refrigerator, and when it's really white and cool, you can just get a spoon and just some people do drain it. I don't bother draining it. Because everything settles to the bottom, and if I let it harden, I can just spoon off the top part, and there's no bits and pieces in there. So it's good for me. But if you want to strain it, you can strain it through like cheesecloth or something. Okay, so that's just a little side benefit you get from making your bacon sprinkles. Okay, so this has been sitting here for a while, and it's pretty well drained. So these are very crunchy now. Like you could almost crumble this into powder. So you got to be careful at this point. You don't want to like pulverize it. You want to keep it little crunchy pieces. And this will just take any extra, grease off them if you want to. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll just let it sit there for 1 second, and then I'll start going like this. And after I do that for a minute, then I'll scoot this little pan over here. Now, if you wanted to, you could put another paper towel in the bottom, and I'll show you. Just, to give you an idea. If you're extra worried about the fat on the bacon, you probably shouldn't be eating bacon. If you're extra worried about the fat, don't eat bacon. But if you want to do a little bit more, you can put a paper towel in the bottom and then just dump those in there. And keep them in the fridge. Okay, so then I just shake them loose. I'm not going to put the lid on now. I'm going to let them cool down a little bit. And when you're done though, you just put the lid on, put them in the fridge, and sprinkle them throughout the week, whatever you're eating. Add more flavor to it. Or if you're having people over and you're making sandwiches or pasta or whatever, you might use it all. Okay, there we go. I'm going to set these aside. Here's a quick, easy breakfast you can do for the kids or the husband if he's on his way out the door, or yourself, whoever. These are just simple corn tortillas with a little mayonnaise on them, scrambled eggs. Last but not least, you add the bacon to it. And this, again, it's personal preference. However much you like, you can just put on there. These are tasty little breakfast tacos. Little hot sauce for me personally. Just adds the little crowning touch on the little tacos. Yum! There we go. Ta-da! Bacon sprinkles on donuts and little taquitos. That just is a couple things you can do with these great little bacon sprinkles. Mmm. So simple, but so good.